if you didn't know, this is the Morningwood NFL Sunday here, brought to you by Rumpier Sports.
What up, boys? We're back with the Golf War Show, the preeminent golf show on the entire internet.
Huge weekend of baseball coming up. We haven't really had a final week like this in a while where there's so many teams that are still alive.
High fly ball into right field. She is gone! Unbelievable! A home run for Gibson. Freeman hits the ball to right field. She is gone! Gibby meet Freddie!
They might have the best pass rush in football.
They were adamant about not having a slow start.
How many times have they disappointed us? So I'm having a lot less of this game.
The game is over. The New York Jets are the world champions. Mahomes swings it. It's there! Hardman! Jackpot! Kansas City! The Chiefs are back-to-back Super Bowl champions!
Welcome one, welcome all. That was my first time seeing that intro, and I hit the college football one, but that one popped up afterwards. So good to see that one. As always, we got Big T and Bruce with me. I'm going to first start us off with Bruce. As always, though, how has been your week, man?
Oh, it was great. We had a good little Saturday, at least the main slate. Mekhi Lemon just absolutely smashed for us. The second best receiver in college football. I can't believe people want to say that he's better than Jeremiah, but he's great. And then Haynes King and Jeremiah Love, man, just absolutely smashed for us too. So and then we also talked about the little pivot from Craver to Concepcion. That was huge too. So fun week. Looking forward to this week. It's good. All the ownership's kind of spread out on the main slate. There's even a good late slate and a nice 4-game slate tonight too.
Absolutely, Bruce. And yes, Jeremiah Love last week absolutely crushed. And if you were lucky enough to run him back with Taylor Green, you gave all that money back. I mean, that's exactly what I did last time out. Big T, my man, you know what? I got to let it be known. We're going to a football game on Sunday. We're going to get to see our Bengals lose by 30 to the Lions here. How are you doing, man?
Yeah, the first it's the first time I've ever gone to a game during the day. That's how much I like Rubio. I've never ever gone to a game on Sunday during the day slot. I've gone to a lot of night games. Never have I gone during a day. And on top of it, going to a game where Burrow's out and we're a 10.5-point underdogs. That's just a sign of respect for Gregory, Rubio, Dimes, Swinehart. I mean, if that's not a sign of respect, I don't know what is, Bruce. I mean, he got me out of the hat. The only thing that could be more respect is if the first 2 days of March Madness, he got me to go somewhere like that. It just doesn't happen. But it just so happened a lot of things worked in the right direction. And, yeah, we're going to be there Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, it should be fun. And then this week we get to watch some of your favorite quarterbacks in the college football, right? We get our guy.
Altmaier? Is that who we get to watch? Mr. Altmaier?
Yeah, Brendan Sorsby, Luke Altmaier. I mean, my goodness, the list goes on. You hate – oh, wait, do you hate the Fafita guy? You hate Fafita, too.
Oh, yeah.
He's the top of my list for the record.
There's a lot of bad quarterbacks that you do not
Ryan
like.
Brown. We've got a who's who this week. Pavia's actually on the slate, though. So, I mean, that may be redeeming just a little bit.
If there's one dude I refuse to play, it's the Arizona guy. Like, I've seen him play too many times. He is horrendous.
You know what? Great call last week on the Illinois. I mean, you were picking against USC for a while there, and then the money line is the huge one too. Because Purdue covered? What was it?
Yeah, they covered every week. We finally got the outright though. They won, right, or did they lose at the end? They won, right?
They won it, yeah. 34-32.
They blew the lead, and then they came back and won on top of it after they blew it.
Oh yeah, that was a good call there. And Bruce, is it really your birthday today?
Yeah, number
Oh my
42.
God.
It's Grayson's birthday too. You share a birthday with old Grayson.
With the
I like
goat.
it.
Yeah, with the goat.
I knew I liked Bruce. Grayson got to stay home from school today for Bruce's birthday.
Hell yeah.
That
I
means
got
we're
to stay on for his. So.
That's a good way to do it.
Happy birthday, Bruce. I know that there's nothing better.
What are you, 42?
42, yeah. Jackie Robinson.
You look like you're 32. I say that as like just respect. Like I just cannot believe that you're 15.
Bruce, he said that to you, and when I turned 42, he said I look 52. That's a sign of respect he gives to the two of us.
I mean, it does look like Bruce is like just considerably younger. I'll say that. All respect again. It's not a disadvantage, Big T, but I gotta say, I just can never believe every time I hear Bruce's age that he's 15 years older than me. It is something crazy to me, but. We have a college football slate to get to. And
in your 20s, Bruce. I mean, how must it feel to just be in your 20s? Like, yeah. I mean, come on. Like,
those were the days, man. Those were the days, just slaying everything, you know.
Yeah, just absolutely, Bruce. Right? Like, definitely not cuffed up by 27, like some people. Right? I can't imagine that.
Funny thing is, I think I got, is that right? I think I got married when I was 27. Are you going to get married when you're 27?
Depends. I got to book a venue. I'm just too lazy, instead of looking at venues.
Rubio, I'm telling you, no matter if you think you got them locked up or not, eventually they start to walk out that door. If you don't get the job done, you gotta close the deal.
I mean, well, then again, UK and Georgia won't talk about itself. There's only so much time in the day. Like, would I rather talk about UK and Georgia and Wisconsin, Michigan, or look at wedding venues? And that answer is easy to me.
You started with a couple bad options to sell it on. I might be looking at the wedding options over those couple games.
You know what? You're telling me that you're not spending your Saturday tomorrow watching Cutter Boley take on Gunnar Stockton?
I'm just glad Georgia got beat up. That was an easy bet last week. It wasn't. It wasn't a main slate, was it? It was a night slate, right?
It was a night slate.
Yeah, but that was an easy bet. Like Alabama, Georgia's not near what they were. That was easy money last week.
That Tennessee game showed a lot too. Like Georgia was lucky to escape with the win there, and I mean they just got their asses handed to them a little bit. But if you were looking at someone in the SEC to get revenge on, just take a lick on, just get your lick back, basically, Bruce. It has to be UK, who hasn't had a home win in the SEC since 2 years or 3 years now. It's kind of crazy, but they're on the road going to Georgia. I can't imagine a UK offensive player is in play because McGowan's priced up to 5,100. Cutter Boley is, he's talented, but this offense just ain't it. But then when you look on the Georgia side, you got Stockton, Branch, Bowens, but obviously that running back position is split up amongst 3-4 guys even at times. Bruce, what are you doing with Georgia, UK?
Yeah, they're even bringing a guy back in Roderick Robinson, so it's going to be even more crowded. But I think they benched Frazier last week because of his fumble. Only got 14% of the snaps, and they kind of gave the young guy Bowens, more run. I've been clamoring for that for a few weeks. He's looked the best to me. I just wish they didn't have so many guys. He scored well last week, and I like him a lot. I just don't know, how many snaps. The upside is so limited for a guy that's 6,200. I like him a lot, but it's hard to play him outside of tournaments. Zachariah Branch is only 4,800. He's just, whenever he gets the ball, he just smashes. 7 targets last week. They're just going to be playing from ahead here. Kentucky's just so bad. So they'll likely need to get that done in the first half because I don't think this game's going to stay particularly close. I think he's a solid tournament play at 4,800. And it's always hard for me to play Gunnar Stockton, but there was a game earlier in the year where he did run 3 touchdowns in, so he can definitely do that. But he is 8,200, so hard for me to play him. Just hard for me to play a lot of guys in this game. McGowan, I guess if you're gonna play a guy on the Kentucky side, it's him. He's got tons of talent and can catch the ball if they're trailing. So, and he's only 5,100. I don't think that's horrible in tournaments, but nothing you're playing in cash here. No high-owned guys here at all.
Yeah, and you're exactly right. The ownership on all these guys is going to be pretty low for the most part here. And I'm looking at the sheet that you sent me too. Yeah, even if you really wanted to like any of these Georgia running backs, it's just difficult to. And I think when I like Nate Frazier to that game against Tennessee, and then I saw him run pretty well, and then they would bring in two different guys near the goal line or whatever, it was like, okay, now you can't really play a Georgia running back. And then you look at these wide receivers. I mean, Big T, if there is a guy who can pay off a 4,800 tag, I mean, it would be Zachariah Branch on this team. But otherwise, like, I'm just looking at everyone else in this game, and outside of him and Stockton, I don't really got too much to say. What about you?
Yeah, these are the spots that are super tough. I mean, McGowan has shown a little bit of like if they're getting beat up, dump off type game. But do you really want to do that on a college slate where you need upside? And honestly, we're back this week where there's a bunch of games that I don't think are great fantasy wise. Where the last couple of weeks it felt like they're almost every single game you at least had options. This week we're back to blowouts, and like this game in the past on the slate, Kentucky was at least at home where maybe you could sell yourself on something with it. But Georgia coming off a loss, Kentucky stinks. I agree with Bruce on the running backs. Bowens looks like more of a receiving threat too. Looks like a much better option. But you just really, the price tag makes it tough. I think if he was somehow to get most of the work, didn't the other dude like fumble in the crunch time last week too or something? You might have said that and I missed it.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just in the doghouse. I think everyone I've heard in some of the chats and stuff thinks Bowens is the better option. Yeah, I don't see a ton in this game, though. If you think Kentucky can somehow keep the pace a little bit, I think McGowan's a decent play anyways at 5,100. I almost like him more if Georgia's up 14 points or something most of the game. And Georgia stinks, so that they could definitely give up something to that position. But overall, I mean, I don't need to waste our time talking about this one. I can't be super invested in it. That Branch price does look somewhat decent though, 4,800 too. I'll keep him in the player pool.
It's crazy when you look at the ADOT of these Georgia receivers. You have Branch, his ADOT's 3.3 yards. Dylan Bell 6.5, and I think like the highest is Colby Young at 9.9. The offense is just, man, it's just so annoying. It's
the stock
do that too. Like I don't get it. Like I don't know. Are they just not capable, or what's the issue?
Yeah, that has to be it. It has to be Stockton. They just don't trust him, or I don't know. He's just not capable as a passer. I don't know. It's just been bad. He missed a lot of open tight ends last week. Like Delp has done nothing all year. He plays the whole game, gets one target. He's got one target the last 3 games. They just can't get him the ball.
Do you think it's an issue too? I've always hated for Georgia just how many guys they play. Even when they were like really good and in the national title picture, I still felt like they used too many guys. You don't need to play 14 different skill guys. Like, I don't get it. It's some of these teams that just go through their best weapons, I feel like do better. I mean, who knows, but that's how I feel about it.
And there was 8 guys who at least got 1 carry for Georgia in their loss against Alabama. No one with.
It's in a competitive game.
Yep. It just kind of goes to show. I mean, they were giving Zachariah Branch a couple carries, Cash Jones a couple carries, right? Dwight Phillips, Josh McCray, Stockton, Frazier, Bell, and Bowens. Like, holy cow, that is just ridiculous. Especially when Bowens was doing 12 for 119 on the ground.
What if Bowens just gets all the work this week coming off a loss? We better keep him in the player pool because if he does, I mean, he could go for 30 plus.
We said that about Bo Jackson last week, and he got like over 50% of the snaps. So it definitely could happen.
Eventually, I mean, because we watch and we follow it pretty close, but these coaches follow way closer than we do. How can they not look at the same thing? I don't care. Maybe he messes a block coverage up or something here and there, but just play your dudes. Like I just don't. Bowens looks so much better.
I agree 100% there. If there was a note there too, Bruce, from what I got when you were explaining the ADOTs, is I made fun of Ryan Davis's ADOT. I think it was like 7.1. And like, it just turns out like almost the entire Georgia wide receiver room is lower than his ADOT. I mean, that is just screens at that point. I mean, that is quick passes to the side of the line of scrimmage or even in the backfield at that point, if that's what's lowering it. Like if they're just doing some jet sweeps with like Branch, your depth of targets -3 yards or whatever, like, yeah, that is very, very interesting. Maybe not a whole lot of faith in Stockton's arm at all. So, yeah, maybe Bowens is maybe the only guy in play unless you think Stockton gets it done with his legs. Let's move on to a Big Ten matchup here. Justice Haynes is at 8K. Will be decently owned, not a ton. We'll have Jeremiah Love on are they the 3:30 game? Yeah, Notre Dame game. Bryce Underwood, we obviously saw his upside a few weeks ago as well. He is only 6,900. Donovan McCauley at 3,200 at wide receiver 2 projects pretty well here through Sabre. I got to upload your projections here, Bruce. And then, if there was one guy, a team that I really have not watched much of this year, Bruce, I've purposely avoided them. That is Wisconsin. And they have a team total that is extremely low in here. I don't think I'm missing out on anything by not watching their games, but tell me if I'm wrong. What are you doing?
Yeah, this game's rough. I just what's the total right now? It's pretty low. Before I looked at it before the show, it was 43.5. So, and Michigan pretty heavy favorites. You just kind of like the run game here for Michigan. It feels like they're able to run the football effectively against Wisconsin at home with Haynes and Marshall. Those two guys are elite. 8K for Haynes, but he's been so good this year. 17 rushes per game. Running back usage is way up there. He's getting targets too. So he's expensive, but it's tough to fade a guy like that. When you look at the other guys up in that range, you have Bryson Washington who's kind of banged up. So I think I would favor Haynes in this spot a little bit more. It's kind of close. But Underwood as well, he's been running the ball a little bit more effectively, 6,900. So that's not crazy. And it's a bad Wisconsin team total with team totals 30.5. So, he can definitely run a few in and hit that do well for that price for sure. And then he has two receivers that are really solid and Klein, the tight end, who's only 3,100, and then McCauley, he's 3,200. So some cheap guys there. You can make a cheap little stack there with a nice team total against a bad team.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a decent team total for Michigan, and it's one of those things where all these wide receivers are super cheap too, right? 3,300, 3,300, 3,100, 3,200. Klein being only 3,100. I know Klein's been your guy for a few weeks now, right? Where he's going to pay that tag off at some point here. Your favorite tight ends in the world. Big T, Michigan, Wisconsin.
Yeah, I like this spot more than I think I should. Wisconsin, it's more through the pass too. I feel like Wisconsin just gets shredded in the pass. Haynes too. I always like playing these Michigan running backs in even in lower total spots because they just always get their numbers. Just friggin' always. I don't know what they do, if they set goals at what, but they always have. The last 7-8 years, they just crush in these spots. So Haynes has to be in there. But our boy Macaulay Culkin, 3,200 for this guy. He hasn't scored, I don't think. Where's his numbers? 0 touchdowns. But look at 3 for 39, 3 for 36, 3 for 91, and 4 for 31 in the 4 games. I know that doesn't sound amazing, but what happens when he scores twice? What happens when he goes 5 for 73 and 2 touchdowns or something, which I think is definitely in the cards here. So Macaulay definitely in play for me. Haynes 100% in play. And then Underwood, he's only 6,900 with rushing upside on a slate that we were talking about before the show. Quarterback, it's a little dicey. There's guys that you're not super in love with on this slate, at least for me. So I think I consider Underwood too. So it's only a 43 total. I don't love that, especially in college. But I'm tempted to ride the train a little bit here. I think they could put up some good numbers. Wisconsin side, absolutely nothing I can go for. So, yeah.
Yeah, I am kind of with you there too. And if we were to kind of stack a Michigan side, hope they put up 5 or 6 touchdowns. The price tags are there. It's cheap enough to do so. And I mean, their totals in line with some other chalk options. Like Cincinnati is going to be pretty chalky with like Sorsby. You'll have who else? Ty Simpson's going to be pretty popular in the totals, very much in that same ballpark. So yeah, I mean, I would be down to stack some Michigan more than I expected. I'm not going to let Wisconsin's low team total stop me. I won't run it back with anything, but I can stack it up with.
It's a different slate this week too. People need to remember that it's not every college slate's different. Each week is different. It's not the super explosive games spot this week overall.
Yeah, it was funny. Like Bruce, we were talking about.
I'm not liking a 43 total game. I'm liking a few pieces in the 43 total game.
Yeah, and if you were to look at this game, like this slate, right? It's a lot of Power 5 schools. Like for the first time, it's like we didn't have like a scrub school that's like not favored by 30, right? Like what the biggest? I guess UCLA is, but that's about it, right? Like you have just one really bad school amongst this slate, and lots of really tight totals for the most part. And there's not going to be just one of those games where it's 42-6 or whatever. I don't think we have to concern ourselves with blowout much at all. Which especially at the quarterback spot. I mean, Bruce, you mentioned on the top of the show, and we'll get to K Klubnik and UNC here in a second, but it's like, previous weeks, you actually had to make a decision up top, right? Where it was, okay, we got, this guy with a 30-point projection, this guy with a 30-point projection. It was like that list for 5 or 6 or 7 guys. This week, I mean, hardly anyone's going to even sniff near 30 on projection-wise. So it's like a lot of Ty Simpson, a lot of Sorsby, Fifita. I mean, wow, what a list there, Big T. You got to be loving life just looking at that, just thinking about how you can fade. But we'll get to like Cade Klubnik here in a second. You talk about a team where disappointment has just been the theme of their season, in Clemson taking on UNC here. I mean, my first thoughts on this game is like, how can both teams lose a game, right? Is ties? Can they tie like the Cowboys Packers or something like that? I mean, this is a game I will definitely not be watching. If you did have to make the case for anyone though, Bruce, I imagine Wesco, Randall, and even Williams will kind of catch your eye. I am curious to hear what you have to say about Klubnik, right? Because, this is, a cheap tag for him, right? I mean, he's been AK, but I mean, it's probably a fair tag more than anything. But can you even run it back with anyone? Like Max Johnson, like Demon June, Jordan Shipp? I guess the Shipp price is not bad at 3,300, but what are you doing with it?
Yeah, that's the one that kind of popped out to me is Jordan Shipp at 3,300. He's been getting the targets, 20% target share for UNC. He's a solid run back. Demon June getting the usage for UNC at running back. Clemson defense has been really bad this year, so I don't hate that, but he is 5,100, so it's kind of a little bit tougher. But it is a bad Clemson team. I just didn't expect them to be this bad this year. So. And it looks like Max Johnson is getting the start for UNC. He's 5,400, but just a tough play, man. He just doesn't do anything. He doesn't really run. Kind of slow. Just a big slow guy. So tough to play him. But I don't mind Klubnik. He's going to get some ownership here. He's 8K. You're going to play him with a receiver or two. Wesco looks good. Lowest target amount the last 3 weeks has been 7, so he's getting a lot of looks. TJ Moore against Syracuse got 17 targets, so he's got to be in play. 6,300, and just tough to play Antonio Williams unless he's 100%. He did get 9 targets against Syracuse as well, so that's not too bad. But he is 7,800, most expensive receiver on Clemson. So. Yeah, it's more of a tournament play for me. If you're going to play Klubnik, I like playing him with receiver too, and hoping for the total smash. And then of course you got Adam Randall, who's going to have some ownership, which should keep that Klubnik ownership kind of in check. I don't think a lot of people play them together. Even though when you add up their usage, it's over 80%. So you get a lot of the scoring there. Clemson does put up a lot of points. I don't hate that as a cash play if you're gonna play those two together.
My favorite thing about that was saying Max Johnson's not a runner, right?
Mm-hmm.
He almost had his leg amputated last year. The fact that he's on the football field again is inspiring. When they were kind of going through that on the ESPN feature after what was it that Gio Lopez ended up getting hurt after his pick six, and Max Johnson came to the game and led him down to a touchdown against TCU there. I mean, it was kind of inspiring, but like, yeah, that dude, maybe things have changed the last 5 weeks, but he did look really stiff in that pocket. Like, he just, obviously, if there was a negative rushing prop on him, I think I would hit the under on that still, with the sacks involved and stuff, because I think Clemson might be able to create a little bit of pressure. I mean, I am curious, though, Big T. I looked at the spread here. Are you going to be tempted enough to go with UNC here? I know you've been picking on Clemson, right?
I mean, it's easy. Like, it's scary how much it reminds me of Florida State last year. There's literally no reason in this world Clemson should be favored by 2 touchdowns on the road. Like, I don't care how bad Carolina's been. There's no team Clemson should be giving 2 touchdowns to. It's just a freebie. Like, I just don't understand it. You can get the money line at plus almost 500. I don't get it. I don't understand. Clemson's quit on the coach. They hate the coach. Everyone's making fun of them. They've played terrible all year. I literally can't comprehend. I know Carolina's looked awful too, but they're getting half the problem's been that quarterback that was dreadful. And Max Johnson kind of sucks too. I'm not saying he's all these arguments. It is a little shaky because Carolina is really bad. But, I mean, you're getting 2 touchdowns at home. Max Johnson has to be better. I mean, he's 29 years old. He's been in college since his dad played for the Jaguars. Like, I mean, or not whoever he freaking – who'd he end with, his dad? Well, Rubio wasn't even alive when he doesn't even know who we're talking about right
Washington
now.
At one
Washington's
point,
where he finished. Yeah.
I
mean, this dude was playing in college while his dad was still playing in the NFL. He's got to be better than this other guy. It's just easy money. As far as fantasy, though, I mean, these Clemson guys, Wesco's been amazing. He's 7,300 though on a team that sucks on the road. They couldn't even beat Syracuse at home when Syracuse's quarterback got knocked out. I can't comprehend this spread. So, yes, absolutely, I will be back on Carolina. There's no chance I'm paying $8K for Cade Klubnik on the road. Randall would be my play, if anybody, but I don't really want to play him on the road either. I have to think Carolina gets better at some point this year, especially with Max Johnson. And maybe Demon June is the play. I mean, 5,100. Clemson's defense has been bad. Ship is definitely in play too. Ship has to be better Ship has to be better with Max Johnson in there over the other dude that couldn't throw. So I think these guys, Max Johnson, you can't play him just because he can't run. But as far as just the game, I think he'll be way better than the other situation. So absolutely give me Carolina again. I wouldn't be shocked at all if they beat Clemson.
Yeah, I mean, how dare you not say I would know who Brad Johnson is? All right, that was actually my first Super Bowl that I ever remember.
Really?
It was the Tampa Bay one, because I don't know why, it's a stupid memory, but like my dad kept telling me to predict the score, and I predict like 1-0, and he called me like, no, you can't.
You predicted the score was 1-0?
Yeah, like I said, I think
you were used to the pitch. You were used to rooting on the pitch.
I was a big baseball kid, especially in the first 7-8 years or so. But and then I kept trying to change my score at halftime, and like I kept trying to make it where it was like 1 point more that Tampa had, and they blew them out. Right? I think that was the game where it was just an absolute blowout. But also in that TCU game when Max Johnson came in, they talked a lot about Brad Johnson as well. Yeah, I mean, he has to be better than Gio. I mean, he did lead him down to a touchdown. That's the only time I've seen Max Johnson this season, obviously. I haven't watched it. How dare would I ever pick up a UNC game after that TCU matchup? But he has to be better than Gio. And I would be a big fan of Ship, at 3,300. It seems like the theme all of a sudden off the rip here, Bruce, without looking at the other games. Cheap wide receiver is going to be a little bit of a move. I could be prematurely saying that, but like, you have guys like Klein at 31, and all those Michigan receivers for 3,300 or less. You got Ship at 3,300 as well. Feels like if I am going to punt, I could easily do it at the wide receiver position with talented guys. Ship's the number one wide receiver there. I mean, yeah, I think I'd be down to go against a Clemson defense that way. But yeah, I'm glad to see that you're going to be riding hard for Bill Belichick tomorrow here, Big T. Can't say I'm surprised. I did expect that coming in, but Yeah, UNC's probably looked just as bad as anyone. So I was kind of.
Yeah, but they're getting 2 touchdowns at home is the difference. Yeah, they do suck. If it was like a pick 'em, I still would probably take Carolina. Man, Clemson stinks. It's scary how much it reminds me of Florida State.
You know what? Hey, okay, it was baseball, grass fairy Ruby. I actually didn't really fall in love with soccer until I started playing like FIFA and stuff, which was on the Xbox 360, I think was the first one. But yeah, it should be a good time. I've heard Dava is making his players recite the holy prayer for each tribe because God is the only thing that can save this dumpster fire. He's got to be gone if they do not. It is bad there. I mean, that Clemson team. You're right, though. I think the smart move would be to back UNC at home, without a doubt. All right, Luke Altmaier and Ryan Brown. Shield your eyes, Big T. We get a game here that is for the sickos. In the Big Ten game here, I am shocked by these team totals here. Illinois with the team total north of 30 is pretty impressive. Altmaier looked really good against USC. Had a big day through the air. Who'd you core him with, Big T? Wasn't it that was it Beatty that you cored him with, right? He also had a good day.
And it was annoying too, because I'll admit it, like I don't know all the guys as good for like Illinois. So when the running back scored, Fegan, in my head, that was who I cored. So I was all happy for a bit. It was like an 80-yard touchdown. I was like, yes. And then I realized it was the damn running back. I was rooting on the wrong guy. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, it was painful.
That's the worst feeling in the entire world.
Brutal. You go from thinking you just got the stone cold to you're like, oh my God. Because, I mean, it was literally like an 80-yard touchdown. You're talking, I mean, with the bonus you're going to get too. I mean, you're talking like almost a 20-point play.
Yeah, I mean, that is the most tilting thing is when you think it's like your wide receiver in the air too. And it's like, say you stack Jamar and it's like T. Higgins getting the touchdown. You just think, it just kills me every time that happens. Bruce, talk to me about some Big Ten football here with Illinois and Purdue.
Yeah, the worst part about Illinois is they have so many like light-skinned receivers that look exactly the same. Like I think Dixon and Beatty all look the same, and then they have Clement and Cole Rusk. They're just like the whitest guys out there. So it's always tough to tell. I played some Clement, and every time Rusk or Beatty caught the ball, I was like, man. I thought Clement was tearing it up, but it was not. But yeah, this game should be solid for offense. Both defenses have been kind of down, especially Purdue. They just don't have the guys yet in their first year under their new coach. So you can keep attacking this defense with Altmaier, Fagan. They had Valentine in late in the game last week and he fumbled. So I think we'll probably see more Lofgren here at 4,300, but Fagan's still the bell cow guy there. He's going to get over 50% of the snaps most likely. Maccabee is in play at 5,400, still too cheap for him. And usually, if Purdue scores, it's through him or Brown. On the receiver side of things, Michael Jackson is in play at 3,600. He's just been getting a ton of targets. Nitro Tuggle has been solid as well. Even EJ Horton. Yeah, all these guys are cheap in this game. Beatty is the only guy that's kind of expensive at 5,400, but his target share has been up there at 25%, and he's looked good. Also returns kicks, so he has that going for him. It's a solid game for offense, and I like it. Especially Altmaier is going to be lower owned at that price tag, with other guys kind of in that range. So you can even play Ryan Brown and not feel bad about it because he's 6,600, and his usage is close to 20%, which is solid for a quarterback.
Yeah, it was fun to watch the Purdue USC game. Maccabee wasn't much of a factor and stuff. At 5,400 is one of those things that is super cheap, right? And then obviously 2 weeks removed from that. But yeah, Nitro Tuggle was getting a lot of looks in that first half against USC. Michael Jackson was in the second half. I don't think Michael Jackson I think he had one catch in that first half against USC, then kind of got going late. Also had the lateral that Ryan Brown picked up and ran to the end zone. That somehow I'm still shocked that was a lateral, and how Ryan Brown even had the audacity to pick that up and start running with it like it wasn't an incomplete pass. there's a lot that you can get from a Big Ten affair, especially when it's Purdue on the line here. Big T, you can continue your love of Luke Altmaier for the second week in a row. I mean, surely you're on the Heisman bandwagon, even if they lost by 50-something to Indiana.
Yeah, it's a week-to-week league there, Gregory, because now we're back on Purdue again, baby. They're back at home. We got a pretty high total, 55.5 right now. Illinois coming off a nice big victory last week. Now they go a tough spot just to get back up for college kids on the road. And we get these same plays like Maccabee last week in a brutal spot, had 7 catches for 56 yards again. So I guess it was 2 weeks ago now. It doesn't look like they didn't play last week, which makes me honestly, it makes me like them even more. Is that right, Bruce? They didn't play last week?
Yeah, they were off. Yep.
Okay. Wanted to make sure. A week off too. That's even more reason to like Purdue. These price tags are awesome though. And these receivers, they might not seem like amazing, but 3,600, 3,100, and Tuggle's scored, I think, 3 of the 4 weeks. Michael Jackson hasn't had as much TD luck, but he's put up good numbers too. They're so cheap, but I like Maccabee. I think Brown too. You can definitely go back to him. He runs a little bit. I like Purdue more than I should. Kind of back to that USC game where I like them a lot. I think they can score points and hang around in this game. The Illinois side, I don't like as much. I'm back to kind of not liking Altmaier this week. 8,300 feels heavy for him. I still hate when I have to play teams where I don't love the receiver. I mean, Beatty's solid, but I don't feel incredible about the pairing. At 8,300, 5,400 on the road, I don't like it. I'd rather play actually Hudson Clement at 3,200. He caught a touchdown last week, right? And that was his first game back. Is that right?
I think he caught a touchdown.
No, that was Dixon, I think. Another guy that kind of looks white.
Yeah, you got him confused, Big T.
I'm getting all these freaking Illinois guys confused. I thought that old man.
As someone who played Clement last week,
he wasn't the one that just came back.
As someone who played Clement last week, I can tell you he did not score.
Yeah,
he barely scored any fantasy.
I wonder who I was thinking of in my head that came back.
You said Dixon, right?
Who was it? There was one guy that came back and housed it.
Yeah, I think it was Dixon.
It might not have even been this team, honestly, because Dixon wasn't who I was. It was some guy that was out and then housed one when I didn't want to. I'll figure it out as the show goes. But I don't like the Illinois side as much. Maybe Fagan did look good. Maybe that's my exposure to this game. Go to the running game. He's only 6,300. He's got a pretty big projection. I feel pretty good about Fagan actually looking at it. Maybe that's the way I attack this. The running game, Illinois, with all those guys I talked about from Purdue. I'm on board for that. But I'm on Purdue in this game plus the 9.5.
You've been on a roll with these college football spreads. Every time, you know what? I got a victory lap with the Ohio State.
They whooped them too. I'll be honest. They laid some lumber. They got Big Bo out there getting things going.
You guys alluded to it. I mean, that Bo Jackson, the way he got most of the carries and stuff. Again, it sucks that we're not going to be able to utilize it like right away and stuff, and it didn't really benefit any main slate. But God, man, we might be able to get him the next time Ohio State's on the main slate where he's still unknown. Because Bruce, that was a game that mattered a lot. He ended up getting those carries in the second half. But I mean, you guys, nailed the Illinois call last week against USC. Nailed the Syracuse call against Clemson a couple of weeks ago and stuff too. So. Yeah, if we get a plus 9.5 Purdue in here, I'll definitely happily, look at stacking them again. That was the thing against USC where they also had some turnovers late in their own half, right? Like, they would drive the ball 80 yards and then Ryan Brown would throw a jump pass to the back of the end zone, squander any scoring chance, right? So it's like, Purdue's offense could have easily produced a whole lot more against USC. I know they had the lateral they got lucky with and stuff, but I'll definitely buy in on some of that offense. And Maccabee at 5,400. I mean, that's a pretty damn good click right there. And I'll happily take some Altmaier love as well. But there's no one I love more, and that includes Luke Altmaier, than Brendan Sorsby. I mean, you talk about, potential guy who maybe the Heisman should be calling him. I'll tell you, at first it was Altmaier, then he lost by 50, so I have to switch my brand. But Sorsby throwing dimes against Kansas there. What was it? Someone put it in here earlier, but it was that.
That was another one you whooped me on, right? They beat Kansas, right?
They did beat Kansas.
You whooped me on a couple last week. You can't give me too much credit when you whooped me on a few.
I whooped you on the 2 college football teams I care about, UC and Ohio State. Really, you know what? Throw in UK in there because a lot of the UK. If I go to the bar, or something like that, UK fan, I'll happily cheer alongside them. But Corleone was out last
You're
week.
a crowd rooter. Like when everybody's rooting on a team, you just throw in a high five with them just to do it.
Local only. All right. If I went to New York, I would not do that. Right. But if it's like my team's in the area within,
like when you go to a game though, like you go to Texas with Bruce and you go watch. What's the closest game to you, Bruce? Who would you go to?
It's got to be SMU.
Probably SMU.
So you go with Bruce and SMU. Are you just like chest bumping every touchdown with them? Do you buy the gear and start rooting alongside?
If Bruce bought the ticket, I would go full fan.
If Bruce bought the ticket, you had to throw it if he bought the ticket.
Oh yeah, because if I'm going there to watch SMU Tech, I'm cheering on my Stacks. I'm probably getting a little fist bump when Kevin Jennings hooks up there with Jordan Hudson or whatever, and whatever. I get pretty excited for that, but if I didn't buy the ticket, if Bruce bought the ticket, I'm cheering Texas all the way because obviously he was gracious enough to bring me, and that's a big thing. I did go to the Reds game against the Pirates, and Tyler Stevenson hit a clutch home run. Only my dad and I high-fived. That we didn't turn around high-five others and stuff, which kind of a new experience because I'll tell you what, when I went to Bengals games and stuff like that, you high-five everyone in your section, right? Oh, yeah. And when the Reds hit a clutch home run, no one was willing to give high fives. You don't want to be the one who's left hanging though. So I got to say, I didn't initiate any hanging of the high fives, but I did kind of look around, is anyone else as excited? Right. And they were just, everyone was in their own little groups. That needs to change. We need to be one unit, and we need to be cheering on UC tomorrow as some Cincinnati guys here, Big T, taking on Iowa State, Sorsby. You know what was shocking to me though? Tommy Walker as well. I mean, he's completely won that role over Evan Breyer. Corleone, though, I do need this information here. Is Corleone in or out this week, Bruce? Because I will say this. I was kind of shocked by how well they handled the run. What was it, LaShawn Williams, who didn't really do much, but they didn't handle the pass too well. Is Corleone in or out this week?
He's questionable, but I read that he's closer to probable, so we should see him tomorrow. But Iowa State's top 2 cornerbacks are out, so it could be a fun game for offense.
Okay, so that would actually be really nice to even be more in love with Brendan Sorsby this week. Is he going to be one of your favorite quarterbacks here, Bruce?
Yeah, he's going to be pretty owned, but this slate is such that the ownership's kind of spread out. He's only 6,800. Dude runs 10 times a game or so. Usage is up there, so yeah, he's definitely up there as one of my favorites. You got to have Rocco Beck probably up there too. If you're not playing the running game, you're playing him probably, just because Cincinnati's defense has looked terrible. I mean, they got diced up by Jalen Daniels last week over the top, and they can continue to do that here. Iowa State has some good receivers. I think Soul had his breakout game last week after we played him week 0 and he wasn't even on the field. He looked good last week with 5 targets and caught a touchdown, I believe. Maybe not. Well, I think he must have got.
It's even more meaningful though because he crushed without a touchdown.
Yeah,
that's even better.
And only 3,200. I didn't get that price up, so that's nice. You can always play these tight ends for Iowa State too. Burkle and Brahmer, they get a lot of work. But these Cincy receivers are probably the place to attack, just because Iowa State has some injuries in the secondary. You have Cyrus Allen, who had 14 targets last week and absolutely smashed. Caldwell had 9, and he's a stud receiver. And then Caleb Goody is only 3,600, and he's looked good in the on the outside. 6 targets last week, and he's super cheap. So I don't hate that. I just wish they would commit to the run game just a little bit more with Walker. 5,600 for him is pretty cheap, but they don't give him the ball enough. Only 10 rushes per game, so that kind of stinks. But Carson Hansen at 6,500 is a solid play. The Cincinnati rush defense, the defensive line is, I think it's worst on the slate. But if Corleone isn't 100%, I don't hate playing Hansen here. He's getting 15 carries per game, and Cincinnati's given up about 28 DraftKings points per game to the running back slot. So, we played LaShawn Williams in the same spot last week, and I think he had like eight yards per carry or something, but only had like what felt like 4 carries. And he could have smashed it felt like. But this is a solid game for offense. Should be a lot of it, and it should be fun. I do like Cincinnati to win, but it should be a closer game for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it is one of those things with Chase Sowell, right? Or you were on him in that game. What was it, Ireland, right? Is that where they were at? Was that the same stadium?
Kansas State.
Yeah, so it was that game, and Sowell did nothing that game. But yeah, Hobbs, what he said, Sowell was apparently hurt in training camp, and they never told him.
I refuse to believe his name is Sowell or whatever you just called him. I refuse to believe that's how you pronounce it.
Well, I was thrown off because obviously Caleb Goody's name is Caleb Goody, but when Bruce said Goody, it kind of threw me through a little bit of a loop there, right? So I was like, Sowell and Goody here we got right here. So, you know what? I got to say this. I completely missed the boat on Cyrus Allen. Like, oh my God. Wasn't he in the winner last week? I think he was in the winning lineup that ended up taking it home. And it's hard not to be. I mean, that game was the absolute nuts there. And Big T is this game that you're going to be stacking up.
Yeah, I think that was my best team last week, even though I made fun of Sorsby. It was with Cyrus Allen and Goody. Even though Goody didn't crush, I think he got like 15 or something, but he was super cheap. And obviously Cyrus Allen went for like 40 or something, if I remember right. Sorsby crushed. It was just a great game. And I love the Cincinnati. This game's weird for me because I love the Cincinnati side, the same thing. Sorsby with the same 2 guys, Cyrus and Goody. I don't think people will really play Cyrus either because he's 5,700. I think you can get Iowa State more through the pass, so I like him a lot. Iowa State side, I just struggle with. I want to play Rocco. I guess I can play, what'd you call him, Sowell? I can play him with Sowell and maybe do well because of it. 3,200. If he was actually hurt early, he looks good now because I need someone to play. I like these tight ends. Brahmer looks good to me. Do they really have like enough upside though, is what I keep asking myself. I think they can get me like 12 or 14, but can they ever get me like 25 even though they're cheap, they are cheap, but in college you still need to like feel like there's some upside because I think this game scores and I think Iowa State wins. I'm going back against your Cincinnati team this week. I think last week they looked good. I'm coming right back in against you, Rubio, putting you to the test back-to-back weeks. I'm taking Iowa State this week. I don't know who to play, though. I don't want to play Carson Hansen that much. Probably is the play, though. What was that other game? The Illinois game we were just talking about where maybe I just change it up and play the running back instead. So, yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. I want to play this pass. Bruce, talk me into somebody, Bruce. Like, these tight ends, who can get me upside besides our boy Sowell?
Yeah, that's the hard part. It's if you look at their receivers, look at their target share. It's nobody over 15%. Brahmer,
they got like 38 guys again. Like, yeah, it's so annoying when you got to choose between 400 dudes.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and they go 2 tight ends a lot with Burkle and Brahmer. Burkle's got a 12% target share, Brahmer 14. I think Brahmer probably has the most upside just because he lines up in the slot a lot more than Burkle does. But yeah, outside of Sowell's big game last week, it's rough. It's more spread out than I'd like.
He does seem like he's a pretty good play though. If that's true that he was kind of hurt early on and now he's healthy. I mean, 4 for 146 last week in a blowout victory. They pounded Arizona. They're definitely beating Cincinnati. Like your squad is not winning.
Stop it! Well,
Iowa State is definitely winning this game.
How many times? You know what the definition of insanity is? Doing the same thing over and over again, and expecting a different result. Imagine going against Brendan Sorsby. I mean, can you imagine doing that? I can't do that. I mean, my goodness. The only guy able to take him down is Dylan Raiola. And Dylan Raiola's 1 of 1. Maybe 2 of 2 if you count Patrick Mahomes. And I tell you what,
Patrick Mahomes.
Swordsby's going to kick some Iowa State butt tomorrow. Cincinnati's going to show why they're the class of the Big 12, and they're just going to go in and they're going to put up 40. They're going to put up 40. Iowa State's going to score 35. But they're going to lose 42-35 or something like that. And Brendan Sorsby is once again going to absolutely shut. All right.
I love that it says Rubio dead and the graphic is of a dead dude. That's like good stuff right there.
Oh yeah, there's we got a number card tomorrow in the UFC, right? We get a UFC a main event, right? I'm trying to think.
We got a good UFC card tomorrow.
Yeah, I've tried to make note of it. I don't want to say the number wrong because then I'll get made fun of. But
I don't know what the number is either. I don't care. I know it's a.
I would have had it right. I knew it. I was gut check 320 there.
No, you're not saying you would have had it right.
I would have had it right.
You did not throw it out there. You weren't right in nothing. We don't believe you. You should have gone
because if I would have said the wrong one, I knew the backlash that would come with it.
You can't be scared. You got to just fire it in there.
I should have shot.
You can't make a shot without shooting the ball, Gregory.
I should have. I watched the Kevin James MMA movie a couple nights ago. Great movie, by the way. I mean, my God, Kevin James, you talk about range of actors. Man, he has it all. He really does. Baylor.
Some great films.
King of Queens is an all-time show. I won't let anyone tear that down for me. That is an all-timer. Baylor, take it on Kansas State. Sawyer
Roberts. Say what number it was. You stopped. What you said the right number. You didn't even finish the plot or talk about the card.
I mean, it's Pereira and Kalev, right? I'm not going to pronounce that.
What did you just call? Oh, see, now I'm still going to make fun of you. That's how this goes. That's why you did what did you just call him? Ankalev. What did
Ankalev, right? It's Magomed.
Oh, this is great.
Magomed versus Pereira. Back. We got Murad versus Sandhagen. I can say Sandhagen.
You can say Sandhagen. What's the main event again? Who is it?
Some Russian and Brazilian. Yeah. Pereira versus someone. I wouldn't know.
Oh, it's too good.
There's a lot of great fighters on this card, though. I'm looking at it.
Pereira is somehow like a 3-1 underdog.
Oh, yeah, plus 210. Oh my God. Yeah, I might be interested in that, Big T. But there will be a show on that tomorrow with JSU and our guy Buddha that will be doing a show on the MMA side. You can check that out probably at noon or something like that. Should be a good time. Let's talk about Baylor and Kansas State, though. Bruce, rip the Band-Aid off. Who you like in this one?
Man, Avery Johnson slate. Gotta love it. Baylor's defense has been horrible. They kind of got destroyed by Oklahoma State. Lucky to get out of there with a win last week. They've been really susceptible to runs up the middle, by running backs and quarterbacks. So, it's a little scary to completely fade Avery here. He can't throw, but he can run a little bit, and that's part of the issue with Baylor this year. Their defense has just been terrible. Yeah, I don't think he's a terrible play. He has 100-yard upside as a runner if he actually runs. It's just a matter of will he run. So don't mind that. Bryson Washington's a little banged up. He's on the injury report as questionable. So if he doesn't go, we could see some Caden Knighton, Michael Turner at 3K, flat 3K. So I think they're solid plays if Washington doesn't go. I was reading the Baylor forums earlier. They said they expected to play, but he's definitely not 100%. So I don't hate Knighton at 3,300 because both of these defenses are really bad. Kansas State's been not great either. So Dylan Edwards was back last week. He had a 75-yard touchdown. Looked good. We played him week 0. He got hurt on that punt return, hurt his ankle. So it looks like he's finally back 100%. I don't mind him at 7,500. He's going to have some ownership, but shouldn't be crazy. I think he's a solid play against this bad defense. But I do like these Baylor receivers, Cameron, Hawkins. They're all in play here. They're going to be lower owned as well. So solid plays. I hate playing Baylor receivers when they're chalk because they seem like they always either get hurt or just are terrible. Jace Brown is questionable for Kansas State, but he's supposedly going to play. So But he's 7,600, which is crazy. He's going to have no ownership. And Jerron Tibbs has been really good for them. He's 3,900 and had 10 targets last week. So, yeah, he's too cheap. There's some really good value plays at receiver this week for sure.
Yeah, leading up to this one, almost felt like every wide receiver was a little bit too cheap, and then you get into Trig and Jace here, like Jace Brown. Like, holy cow, those are some heavy tags, especially when Avery Johnson. I already know what Big T is going to say about him. There's no quarterback that Big T dislikes more throwing the football than Avery Johnson. I mean, you can say what you want, but I think you might think that Avery Johnson is maybe the worst passer in college football, at least in the Power 4 conferences here. You called it, right? When we did the show, when we talked about this game a little bit in week 0, we were talking about Kansas State and Iowa State. You were just bashing on Avery Johnson. Yeah. You were right. He looked horrible that game. And then our guy, I mean, that is just unbelievable to hear, Bruce, that we get the return of our guy, Dylan Edwards here after the punt return where he somehow rolled his ankle despite nothing happening to him, and he muffed the punt. Got everyone's bets just absolutely screwed. He was too cheap. He was an absolute lock on that showdown. But finally, he's back at 7,500 here. Big T, what are you doing with it?
Yeah, I actually bet one of the members too. I can't remember the exact bet, but I think it was. I asked Bruce about what it was. I think it's like 3,000 yards passing or something. I got under, and whoever it was has over. I have to look it up, but I have to be in pretty good shape. I think he's got 1,000 yards through 5 games, which is, and honestly, in college, that's pretty tough to not put up some decent numbers. At least I don't think he's had a 300-yard game yet. He's just. It's been about as expected. And honestly, Kansas State's been worse than expected because of some injuries and stuff. But Baylor struggled too. This game looks like a game there's going to be points to me. It's always just the price tags that make it tough. I mean, Robertson's 93. Bryson Washington is 8,200. Josh Cameron looks pretty solid to me. Even though the price is up, these ownerships look low. I mean, you look at where we're projecting these guys, it's just not high. Trig is expensive. Cole Wilson's the tight end, right, or no?
No, he's a small
white.
No, he's not a white.
Not even a white man.
No,
I didn't nail that either. Ooh, he seems like a white tight end name to me.
Yeah.
Hawkins, I like Hawkins. Again, it's another one of these spots though that I hate when I don't have a clear guy. I guess it would be Cameron for sure for me, but I still don't have a guy that I'm just like totally sold on. So some other spots where you can play a 9,300 quarterback. I just like to have one guy. Yeah, that is the opposite. Bruce just posted a picture of Cole Wilson. That is definitely the opposite of who I thought it was. So I'm glad you showed that. I like this game. This could be like a Saber Sim type game too, where you just throw it in the pot and see what it gives you, because I know there's going to be points here. I just don't for sure. I mean, like Jace Brown is 7,600 coming off an injury. Dylan Edwards is 7,500. I think Dylan Edwards crushes in this game. Definitely one of the better running back plays. It's just his price is accurate. I mean, so you're not getting any sort of value with that price tag. I do think he crushes, though, and I do think we see a lot of points. So, I mean, Connor, yeah, I mean, I'll admit it. That was a tough scouting report from Big T on the old Cole Wilson here.
Let's go ahead and check out real quick. I wanted to check this. What was the snap count that we saw from our guy Dylan Edwards last week? The 20 carries. Okay, so he's like just full blown ready to go. Then
he's gonna crush too, just crush. A lot of these spots where I don't know who to like go to for receiver, I keep feeling like maybe it's just go with the running back and just let them just crush.
Well, I mean, it should be noted. What was it? Was it TJ Harden who ran all over this team too, right? Didn't TJ Harden have a big day against this Baylor team here, Bruce?
Yeah, even you look at Oklahoma State last week. They just crushed. I mean, even the backup came in and smashed. So, yeah, I mean, Howland had 84 yards, and I didn't even know he was playing last week. Just came in and smashed. So. Yeah, it's a good spot for running backs. Fields had 5 receptions for 75 yards, and then Howland had 2 touchdowns. So it's a good spot.
It was funny because, like, I do remember looking at that box score there, and I was kind of high on Fields, and like I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like Fields is definitely RB1, right? And I kind of like checked the box score there. I'm like, oh, he did all that through the air, and it was Howland. I think I put on that game for a brief minute, and it was Howland that was getting the carries there. But DraftKings actually adjusted their odds to where it was like very reflective of that. I was hoping to maybe get another snipe on like a nice next touchdown score odds, but they were quick to the foot there. And yeah, though we won't talk too much about Oklahoma State at all, but Baylor was once again ran all over on. I think that's a good route to go there, Big T. Dylan Edwards, and then pick your favorite guys on Baylor. Even Sawyer Robertson at 9,300. Someone said it earlier here in just a minute ago. Yeah, it was Mama Rocks talking about the 3K running backs have killed you this year. I think it's killed a lot of people. I think literally every single slate has been a cheap wide receivers that have been gone off. And the running backs, just especially the cheap ones, haven't really done anything this year, it feels. And it feels like all these wide receivers that we've talked about up until that game have been too cheap. So it's going to once again be one of those scenarios where, why not spend up at running back and get the absolute studs? I mean, Jeremiah Love last week's a great example of that. You can do the same thing with like Dylan Edwards there at a nice mid 7K tag. Well, sure enough, the very next game is Oklahoma State. Wow, what a I missed the transition there. That's on me, guys. I could have transitioned from Fields and Howland. Instead, I took an extra minute. Now everyone's telling me to shut up and get to the game and let Bruce talk. And I'll go ahead and do that here. Bruce, what are we doing with some Oklahoma State, Arizona?
Yeah, this game is probably going to be gross, but it has two of the worst quarterbacks in football, and can't believe Fafita is priced up at 8,800. That's crazy. I know Big T probably already clicked the X button on him, but Oklahoma State's been pretty bad on defense. But I think Mahdi can take the most advantage of that. He's 6,100. He's going to have some ownership for sure, just because he's become their guy at running back. Should get 15 to 17 touches, and the defensive line for Oklahoma State's just been terrible. So they're giving up a lot of explosive runs, and his explosive run percentage is just way up there. So I expect him to have a big game. Fields and Howland kind of split the carries last week. It was 58 to 43 snap percentage there on the Oklahoma State side. I think you can play one of those guys. They're gonna have no ownership, and Arizona's defense has not been fantastic, but their defensive line is pretty solid. So I prefer to attack through the air if you're going to play Oklahoma State. But their quarterback's just terrible. It's hard to tell you to play any of those guys. But I think it's Mahdi for me here. I don't mind Chris Hudson at wide receiver for Arizona. Explosive guy, got 10 targets last week. Same with Chris Hunter. Both those guys are kind of in the same range. And not going to have much ownership as well. So yeah, it's probably just a few guys in this game. It's not very appealing for me on the offensive side for DFS.
Yeah, and I was telling Bruce before the show started that I think I've seen every quarterback play at least once, right, this season especially. And if there was a chance I could take any of those back, the Zane Flores game would probably be one that I wish I could just, wish I didn't watch. I mean, that offense is brutal. Rodney Fields at least showed a little bit of a flash, right, talent-wise, and obviously he had a good game against Baylor, but the previous week before that, I think he had over 100 on the ground even. And you look at Howland. Howland was actually the guy who got all the work, basically, 16 carries compared to, Fields' 5. They still put up 27 against that Baylor side, but again, Baylor put up 45 against them, right? And this Oklahoma State defense is absolutely horrendous. You got Mahdi there who, yeah, like you said, is going to be pretty popular, 6,100. I mean, I'm just waiting to hear what Big T's got to say about Fafita, though, with a very good team total here. I mean, surely you're not on Fafita, right?
I just can't imagine paying 8,800 for this guy. Like, I just play Mahdi, or how you say it, Mahdi? Mahdi. Yeah. You're allowed to make fun of me, Rubio, and I don't know how to say a name. Mahdi, he just looks like a slam dunk. I mean, 22 for 189 against Kansas State and 32 in the receiving, 13 for 85. He's only scored 2 touchdowns, so he's got some touchdown regression coming a little bit too. Oklahoma State played pretty good last week. I mean, Mahdi just looks like an absolute slam dunk. And I'm pleased to say the guy I was talking about earlier was Chris Hudson. He was out for a long time and then housed one last week. And we weren't sure if he was going to play. He was probably on the night slate is why I was confused. We weren't sure if he was going to play, then he played. Is that right, Bruce, or no? Was the other dude I was talking about earlier named Hudson or no? I can't remember.
Yeah, that was Hudson Clement. Yeah.
Yeah, I was getting them confused, but it finally hit me when I saw this dude's name that's who it was. But I say that to say he looked pretty good last week, and he's 5,500. So I think I could come back with him. The funny thing about the Arizona passing game, I just don't know how much they're going to need it either. And I don't think they'll really run from there. Yeah, it's just Mahdi and Hudson for me. Oklahoma State, though, I still like this Rodney Fields guy. 4,200. He gets a bunch of dump-offs in the passing game. I love the price tag. I feel like he's got more upside than his projection. I mean, SaberSim only has him projected for 9. I don't really understand that. I feel like it should be significantly higher than that, like 14 or 15. So I like him a decent amount at 4,200. Definitely nothing else from OK State for me, though.
The best part about this is Chris Hudson still being in college football, and he played in the COVID year of 2020. I'm actually just kind of amazed that he is still around. And yeah, I mean, you talk about a guy who's what was it, Oregon and then Washington State. He was part of that really pass-happy offense last year, right? And then, why wouldn't you want to spend your 5th or 6th year in college playing with Noah Fafita here and getting paid to do so? I mean, my God. It just reminds me when we were talking about J.R. Smith played college golf and stuff. I could just see LeBron doing the ultimate publicity stunt and playing tight end for Ohio State in the next 2 years. I don't know if that would be legal, but I'm just looking at some of these 6-year guys. Like, holy cow. I'm all over Mahdi with you guys. I'll play some Hudson too, just because he's always been good. I mean, he was at Oregon and he was pretty good at Washington State and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I probably won't touch that Fafita price tag at 8,800. Out of respect, I am going to click Rodney Fields because that 5 for 75 through the air, if you were to somehow regain control of if you were to get 16 carries tomorrow, yeah, I think he could pay the tag, right? But obviously you'd be gambling there a little bit.
I mean, he could definitely pay it off. I don't want it to sound like they're in a good spot. It's just
Well, he wasn't the alpha in the running back room, right? It was Howland, right? And he had 5 carries to Howland's 16. If that flipped, right, where Fields is involved in the pass game, okay, then you're looking at something. But that would be what you're gambling on. I mean, if you're playing him for the 5 carries he got last week, I mean, well, yeah, it would suck. But yeah, it's not a game I want to get overly cute with. He'd be the only Oklahoma State guy. All right, on this weekend last year, Alabama went into Vandy and Diego Pavia slayed them. And I just look around and stuff. I think I had ESPN on, right? It was after the UK game. I think it was a little bit of a post game or halftime, I believe, actually. And I heard the words Diego Pavia for Heisman. All right. Surely not, Bruce. Is that actually a thing right now that Diego Pavia could be in the Heisman contention talk right now? I was shocked. I almost had to clean my ears and rewind it just to make sure I heard correctly. But you got him at 7,100. I'm sure Bama really wants to lay it into Vandy here too, because Vandy was talking a lot after that game. This game, sneakily, I really like Bama in this one. I'm very curious to hear what you both have to say. I already know what Big T's going to say. When do you not like a favorite?
You literally never like underdogs. You're worse than JSU with this stuff. You would never in a million years be like, I love Vandy over Alabama. You would never say that, ever.
I just heard Diego Pavia for Heisman on my
because he's good.
Oh, my God.
He's really good.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you hate on Swords. You hate on Altmaier. You hate on Fafita.
You know how much better Pavia is than those guys? He's so good.
Bama is going to make him look so bad tomorrow. Bruce, help me out here. Don't tell me, which side are you on?
Man, I lean towards Tony's side here.
No.
I don't see him winning the Heisman. If you look at their schedule, man.
For the record, I'm not saying he's winning the Heisman either. I'm saying he's good.
No, that's clearly what you guys are saying.
The schedule's rough. They have Alabama, and then next week or 2 weeks from now they play LSU. They have Missouri and then Texas on the road. So man, it's tough.
Go 2-1
really,
for the Heisman. Yeah.
I mean, if they somehow only lose one of those, then you got to put them up there. But he's talking a lot this week, saying if they play their game, it won't be close. That was his main quote. He said the crowd is probably going to make it a lot tougher for them, but it is at Alabama. If it was at home, I think he would be close to a smash play for me here at 7,100. But on the road, it gives you a little more pause. But he's going to run the ball 10 to 15 times, and I think the main problem with Bama this year is they've been soft up front. You look at that Florida State game. Florida State was able to run the football rather easily, and even last week, Georgia, I think they averaged like 8 or 9 yards per carry. They just couldn't throw the ball at all. So, I think that's the way to beat Bama is on the ground, kind of pushing them around. And if you look at the Vandy offense, that's the one thing they've done great this year is run the football. I think they may be near top most efficient rush teams in the nation. And then they're really, really good at passing off of it too. So, I don't mind it. It could end up being a high scoring game. Ty Simpson has been playing very well since that Florida State game. Just smashed last week. They got Jam Miller back as well. He played 64% of the snaps last week. So, he's a solid play again. I don't mind Cedric Alexander at 4,800. I just talked about the offensive line for Vandy and their rush offense. He should play around 60% of the snaps or so. Then you have Eli Stowers, former Texas A&M quarterback, now a tight end, 3,900. His target share is 21%. Just going to get a lot of work there, especially if they're playing from behind. He's going to get tons of work. Jeremy Bernard I think he's probably a top 10 wide receiver in college football. He looks great. 6,900 for him though is a little tough, especially when you have Ryan Williams as well. He's more expensive at 8,100. And you have Isaiah Horton, who's really great too. Got 9 targets last week. Played the full game too. So yeah, it's going to be a fun game. I do like Vandy to at least keep it close, and it could be pretty offensive if Vandy hits some big plays.
That Pavia quote is absolute insanity. You know what? He's on brand though, right? Like he's very cocky. He did give Bama a loss last year. I don't expect it to happen, but I do want to stack Bama a little bit here, Big T. But the big problem you just come with is if you're doing it, it's going to be pricey, right? Because Bernard 6,900, it's not a bad tag at all. But then Ryan Williams, if you want to do a double stack, then you're really looking at a huge price tag there. Ty Simpson's tag will make him really popular, like you were alluding to, Bruce. And yeah, I mean, you guys can like Vandy and stuff, but even then, it's not like they're super cheap. I mean, I guess Cedric Alexander's tag's not terrible. The Stowers thing, that is actually, I was wondering where that name was from, Bruce, and it did kind of ring a bell. And right when you said that, it kind of was like, oh, okay, maybe that's where that's from, right? But Big T, what are you doing with this game?
First of all, a couple people have asked this. Have you covered tonight's slate? No, we don't. We talk about the Saturday slate on this one. If you want content, though, sign up for the site, Run Pure Sports. Bruce does freaking full write-ups about every single play. Once we get to the weeknight games too, not even just Friday, all of it's up there. So that's one reason to sign up for Run Pure, because get all the MMA this weekend, all the college football, all the NFL, all the baseball playoffs start tomorrow in full swing, 4 games, a million other sports, and I'm not even thinking of NASCAR, whatever else too. So sign up, you get that coverage as well, because Bruce does an incredible job of that stuff. This game, though, this is my game stack for sure. Pavia, he's another guy that's like 30 years old. He's been a stud forever. He's a vet. He knows what to do. And you have great stack options. Stowers just looks borderline locky to me. I feel like he's just a great play. Trey Richardson's a great play. I love this side, but you also have the Bama guys that I feel like are I mean, almost a lock for me. Ty Simpson feels like a lock at 7,300. I just feel like he crushes. Jeremy Bernard is still only 6,900. Like Bruce said, as far as not upside, but as far as college receivers, I'm not sure I'd trust anyone more than him. Just as far as going out there and getting me 20 fantasy points, I might trust him more than anyone in the country. So he's there. And then Ryan Williams is more talented than him as far as just pure upside. So 8,100, no one's going to play Ryan Williams. And the past few weeks, we've kind of had those pivots in these games where everyone plays Jeremy. We play Ryan Williams. I think you can do it again. I think you can do it again. Like, no doubt about it. Play Ryan Williams over Jeremy, and that'll make you different immediately. So I think this game shoots out. I absolutely love this game. And you guys know how I am too. I love being able to double stack both teams and then see what two running backs you can fit with it. I love it in this game. And it's even more viable because of how ugly some of these morning games are. So I think we win a lot of money on this game. Sign me up. I think the Bama side is safer, but on a week where quarterback stinks, Pavia is rock solid. I mean, just rock solid for me.
Yeah, you make me want to run through a wall for this game, guys. I gotta say, you guys make me want to just go out there, lace them up, double stack Bama, run it back with Stowers and Richardson, and have a great time. I'm not going to play Pavia because I have a brain, and I'm playing Sorsby because Sorsby's for the Heisman and Pavia's not. But other than that, I'm on board with you guys. Like, Bama's going to win by 14, but it's going to be like a nice little 42-28 style. Bama's going to lay
These are the spots you just haven't gambled enough in your life. Like when a team comes off a massive win versus Georgia, you don't ever think there's a letdown. Like ever, there's just no letdown.
You know why? Because they marked this game before the season started and said, we can't let Vandy do this to us again. We can't let Vandy. All right, if it was, Ole Miss or someone like that, sure. If it was Tennessee,
if it was Ole Miss, it's going to be a sleepy spot.
No, not a sleepy spot. I'm just saying.
Before you
if it was going to be one of those games where you lost to them the last year, right? You're like, okay, you can see they lost.
Do you think they're getting more up for Vandy than Ole Miss in the lane train?
If you lose back-to-back years to Vandy, your job's done. I'm sorry. Get him out of here. You lose. You win against Georgia. Sure.
This game's going to shoot out.
Yeah, I'm going to be on board with you. That Ty Simpson price, though. Yeah, you're right. 7,300. Oh my God. Like, yeah, you. Jeremy's probably been the most consistent. You alluded to that.
I mean, he's just rock solid.
I can't remember a time where he's failed us, and I feel like we play him literally every night slate. It feels like Bama hasn't been on too many main slates, but he's absolutely crushed time and time again. I got to speed us up. We still got 4 games. Let's talk about Virginia and Louisville. The Miller-Moss doubles last week. Louisville had a big comeback win against Pitt. That was something that I didn't really expect that. Pitt was abusing the ball boy, and then they come back and just jam it down their throat. What was it, 34-27 or something like that? It was a great game. Bruce, what are you doing with Louisville UVA?
Yeah, this should be a good offensive game. It seems like the late games are the best ones to attack so far. Just kind of looking at it. Miller Moss is only 7,600. Doesn't provide you much upside with his running ability. Pretty much a statue back there, but he looks solid passing the ball. Louisville is like a 60% pass team, so they're going to sling it. Chandler Morris looked great beating FSU last week, so I think he's always a good play. The Louisville defense has looked terrible. It seems like I always get it wrong though. If I play someone against Louisville, their defense just plays lights out. So I could see that. Definitely see that happening, especially Virginia off of a big win, having to go on the road. So yeah, I like Miller Moss here. Colin Lacey is always a solid play. Chris Bell had 16 targets last week. Lacey had 12. So those guys are going to get peppered again, like always. Their running game has been kind of banked up. Brown and Watson. Watson played 37% of the snaps, and Isaac Brown played 61. So those two guys are going to get the majority of the work. As always, Jamari Taylor has just looked great at running back for Virginia. He looked great against FSU. He was bouncing off tackles. It was great. I love to see that. It is a little bit tougher on the road, but he looks like a solid running back. He walked on some Division II school too. So it's a pretty cool story. And you have Trell Harris, Edrin, and Cam Ross at receiver for Virginia. All solid plays. It's pretty easy to find out the guys that Virginia is going to throw the football to. All those guys have a 4.5 reception prop on Underdog currently. So those guys are going to get fed for sure.
Yeah, Jamari Taylor, he was a top scorer on a slate where it was just 4K and unknown. Now he's like, 7K almost. It's kind of crazy. If you were early on him, oh my God, you get to enjoy your money. I think that was like week 1 or week 2 that he just absolutely nuked and ended up winning someone a lot of money there. Big T. The Louisville receivers, as Bruce was saying here, their top 2 guys, Lacey and Bell, do account for a ton of targets, right? I think their target share combines for about 50%, which is what you want to see, right? What was the team that we just talked about? ISU, Iowa State, that didn't have anyone above 15%. Well, Louisville's got 2 guys almost at 25%. I mean, Bell's case, it's a little higher, but Lacey now being back. Was Lacey hurt at the start of the year at all, Bruce? Am I recalling that?
No, that was last year. He broke his collarbone. Yeah.
I thought he was hurt. Yeah, I knew it was at some point there. But Big T, what are you doing with these Louisville wide receivers here and then this game in general?
Yeah, I mean, this is the spots I always love. You got clear route trees. Bell and Lacey are just awesome. Miller Moss is in a great spot. I mean, these are the spots I love in college football. The weeks where we don't have spots like this are the weeks I struggle a little more. It's just so easy to pair them up with 1 or 2 of these guys. I mean, sure, you have to choose between Bell and Lacey. Maybe. I mean, Lacey's probably the best receiver play on the slate. I mean, just eyeballing it, projected almost 20, 5,300. But again, if you go up to Bell's going to be somewhat owned too, just because he's got a big boy projection. So just lines up to play it. It naturally gets me off of Isaac Brown. But again, I mean, you can play him too. He's one of these running backs that slides in there. I like the passing game way more, though. I love it there. And then the Virginia side, I don't like as much. Even though they looked good last week, Chandler Morris, he looks solid. I just know how this dude is. He'll end up holding his helmet or something tomorrow. It always happens with this guy. He gets hurt a lot. I don't love the Virginia side, I'll be honest, which I should. I feel like I should. I think my best team last week, I had Cam Ross, and he didn't impress me too much out there. I don't love it. I do love the Louisville side, though.
Like Cam Ross showed us something in like the first week, and then since I don't think he's really done anything. I think he was like super chalk week 2 or something like that. And then every time like, man, he might regain
a few of the slates he's been on. It just he hasn't quite done it.
Yeah, and I keep playing. I think I'm gonna hop off this. Even the price tag keeps getting lower.
We're both gonna hop off, and he's gonna just crush us. I can see it coming a mile away.
You know what? It was in the North Carolina State game. Played him. He went 5 for 40 at super chalk. Right, didn't do anything. I played him last week against Florida State, 5 for 34. In between those 2 games, you have the Coastal Carolina game where he went 7 for 124, and then Stanford 7 for 88. Maybe I've just been missing on it, right? Like maybe
40s though in college hurt your feelings. Like I don't care how they just they make you can't look at yourself in the mirror.
Even at 3,500, you're just disappointed with 5.
Yeah, I mean, you need points in college. It's not like the other sports. Like they got to do something.
100%. I mean, I guess that there's it's enough. It's enough of a game log. I would be game logging at that point. But I mean, I keep playing him and without success. But it was only twice, so maybe I should put my biases aside. I don't really have anything too much else to add. Let's move on to a Penn State UCLA game. Penn State's been a part, I think, of the most blowout spreads of this season. I feel like they're always a noon game. Outside of last week against Oregon, they are always like a noon or a 3:30 game. They're always on the main slate, and we say the same thing every time. If it doesn't blow out, Singleton or Allen could get there. Big T says Drew Aller sucks, and he's going to make fun of Nico Imavila or whatever his name is, and, not play anyone on UCLA. And did I get that right, Big T?
I mean, to be fair, Drew Aller has sucked. So
I didn't say you were wrong. I just said
he's been bad. Mm-hmm. Like I don't. This game is easy for me. I don't know if you wanted to talk, but I'll make it easy, and then Bruce can talk about it. I think Singleton might be my favorite spot of the year. I've been waiting for this spot. UCLA sucks. People are going to want to play Allen at 5,700. I mean, they're 8,400 and 5,700 in a decent spot. I think this is the Singleton week. You can already chalk it down for my play of the week. I've been waiting for this spot. I can't wait to pounce. That's why I had to swoop. I never swoop in front of Bruce. I had to swoop in front of him in this spot to say It's Singleton week. 3 tutties, 200 yards. Break the slate, Singleton.
All right. You know what? If you're going to intercept someone like that, you absolutely do it by laying wood and declaring Nicholas Singleton the play that I went to you first in the sense that I just felt like, yeah, you're exactly right. Then I would have been like, Bruce, are we missing anything? But Singleton, a play of the week there. All
I
right.
hope Bruce likes it because I'm committed. I'm committed to it. Don't talk me out of it, Bruce.
Now, Bruce, what do you say?
Yeah, I mean it's such a great spot. You know, he's expensive. That's going to keep the ownership down. You have Katron Allen there at 5,700. People are going to probably play him. So you know that definitely will keep the ownership down. I think it's a great spot. You know, UCLA is just lifeless. So I think he smashes. You know, if you're going to play anyone from the UCLA side, it's Rico Flores Jr. He's 3K, and you know, min price, 3K shitter guy, 5 targets per game. I don't hate that as a punt. I think last week was his first game back, so I think he's solid. But yeah, I think Aller stinks. Nico stinks. Yeah, can't play any of these UCLA running backs. So yeah, it's should be a smash spot for Penn State.
Yeah, I like it. And then no one on UCLA for either of you guys, I assume, right? Not against this Penn State defense. They made Oregon look a little bit human in that second half. I can't believe that Penn State almost came back. But again, running low on time. We'll go to Texas, taking on Florida. As always with Texas, Bruce, you get the driving wheel. Wow. You get the steering wheel and drive us on home. Talk about some Texas, Florida here.
Yeah, very low total. I think game should be pretty defensive. You know, Cedric Baxter looks like he's out. So should be Wisner and the two other young kids getting the most of the carries there. Looks like Emmett Mosley's going to play for Texas. His first game. I think he was probable. The last injury report I looked, and he's not. You know, I don't know what his role will be yet, but he's a solid receiver. He was really good for Stanford last year, and he is priced not terribly. So I don't mind him for 4K. I do like Burnell Brown the third at 4,700. I think he's been Florida's best receiver so far, and I think it's possible that Texas's best quarterback could be out. This one, I think he was questionable, so that's something to watch for. Jaden Ball 5,300 is not bad in a home game. I think he should get most of the carries there, and he's too cheap at 5,300. You know, Texas defense has been solid, but you know they haven't really played anybody other than Ohio State. So I do think he can do some stuff on the ground, but yeah, I'm not playing either one of these quarterbacks priced up crazy. Receivers are tough, and yeah, it should be a pretty defensive game for sure.
Yeah, it definitely feels that way. I mean, Florida's defense has not been bad, right? I mean, it's that offense that has really let them down, and you're getting a spot here where, I mean, Wisner's making his first game back, right, since the Ohio State game. So, yeah, if you expect him to come and take the load, yeah, I mean, maybe you got a good price tag there, 6,400, but otherwise, I mean, you're looking at some very expensive Texas pieces. Big T. I mean, I don't expect you to have too much interest in this game, especially, Arch Manning at 9K. You've definitely been on the roller coaster of Arch Manning, right? You've loved him. You've hated him. This week, I can't imagine that you're going to be on anyone really outside maybe Ball and Wisner a little bit. And then Vernell Brown, that's a good point, Bruce. Like, I was not expecting you to say he's been their best receiver over Eugene Wilson, but it makes a lot of sense. I mean, Eugene Wilson has been a lot of scat stuff, right? Like a little bit of gadget plays around the line of scrimmage. Rarely do I see him catch a ball deep over the middle. Like, a lot of it's after the catch. But Big T, what do you think?
Yeah, definitely nothing for fantasy. I'll save time there. I think Florida can win this game, though. I think it's a good spot for Florida against Arch. I think we see Texas go down here, actually.
All right, Texas getting upset with DJ.
I won't be around for late slate. That's okay. Very much in pain.
Are you still buying? Are you buying Texas stock still?
Well, I think Arch looked better the last game, and then they have
He played a handicap team.
Yeah, oh, I know, but they played a handicap team like 2 weeks in a row before that.
That's true.
That's the
That's
problem,
fair.
and he looked horrible those 2 weeks. I thought we were lucky to win those.
If he goes and this is a big game for all, obviously, no shit,
Yes.
it's a big game. But if they go and they look good this week, I mean, it's a season breaker. Obviously, I know I'm not like shedding ground. This game is enormous for Arch.
Yeah, and a lot of people were talking shit about him standing over that
Some of those
janitor.
gifts were hilarious, though.
Yeah, and I don't care about that. I really don't. I think he probably needs that for his confidence a little bit because he's looked so bad. And I thought maybe he was injured, but maybe not. Maybe he just needed a game like he had 2 weeks ago to kind of get him going.
Yeah, we all need those get me going games, right? The slump busters, basically. And that's a good point there. I hope that Texas wins. I would love to see them play Ohio State again in the playoffs, so Ohio State can get a nice, easy win over Arch. All right, Boise taking on Notre Dame here. Jeremiah Love, wow, you talk about a great performance last time out. Arkansas stood no chance. He got Sam Pittman fired. You got CJ Carr here as well at 9,100. Very tall tags on the Notre Dame Stars. You got Fison, Fields, and Price all kind of middling there as well. The defense for Notre Dame actually looked pretty impressive against Arkansas, right? Like they were able to really hold Taylor Green down. They didn't really have any troubles offensively or defensively against an SEC opponent. What do you expect Boise to do here, Bruce? Anything? And if not, is it just Jeremiah Love basically from this game?
Yeah, I just wonder how Notre Dame keeps lucking out against these bad defenses, man. I watched Boise State against Air Force, a couple weeks ago, and man, their defense is just terrible. Might be worse than Arkansas's. They let Air Force run all over them. Air Force hasn't done a ton this season, so I think Notre Dame could win by 5 or 6 touchdowns here. I love Love again here, even though he is 9,800. He should smash. 50 points is definitely reachable. It's just a smash spot. I think Boise's given up the most explosive run plays on the year as well. Somewhere up there, I think they're bottom 3 or something. We could see the Notre Dame run game just smash again. Price at 5,800, solid play. They've just been scoring touchdowns. He has 6 on the year. Yeah, it's tough to play anyone in the passing game for Notre Dame. Faison is the guy, I guess, 22% target share, and then Fields right behind him at 19. Those 2 guys are probably not terrible. They're cheap too, so I just don't know if the volume will be there. So I'd kind of lean Fields if you're going to play one of those 2. He's the explosive play guy, 17-yard ADOT, and now that I look at it, I think Boise has given up the most explosive pass plays as well. So it's just a bad defense. Just a great matchup for Notre Dame to score some points.
And we saw that last week against Arkansas. Was it 56 or something like that? Mm-hmm. Even with Jeremiah Love not scoring the first touchdown, he still ended up absolutely bashing Big T. You like Dylan Edwards. You like Singleton. Does that mean you're off on Jeremiah Love?
I am definitely not off Love because he's just a beast. He's a monster. We've been on him. The only hard part is he is 9,800. I mean, you're getting up there to where he needs – mid-30s to even 40 at that price. Like, seriously, he could get you 30 points and it not be enough. That price is huge. And you start building teams, like, unless you find some punt run, which I like spend-up running backs. I think this is the week of the running back. I'm not going to lie. The receivers, there's good receiver plays too, but, 9,800 is really, really hard or cheap quarterbacks even. If we could find a cheap quarterback out there, maybe you punt with it. Because I could see like spend up running backs just nuking. But yeah, I'm on Love. I think you just got to project him for mid-30s and kind of see what happens. He's a beast. He's going to crush. Will he get enough, though, is the question. I could see him getting like 30 and not being enough. No one else, though, in this game for sure for me.
It is interesting because that was my case against Genty every single night slate last year. Was he literally was not affordable in like every lineup unless he got like 50.
You just have to force it in sometimes. I mean, like, because when he gets 40, are you really like you just figure out what else to go with him?
Yeah, I mean, well, it's also too, or it's like you got some running backs who can match. I mean, you love Singleton and stuff, and Dylan Edwards had 20 touches last time as well. Like, yeah, it's a lot of good. Like, running backs here were 9,800 for one. Man.
And there's a lot. How many receivers did we say are like 3,200? It might be a weird build where you like don't correlate as much as I like to. But if you like spend up at 3 running backs and then play 3 cheap receivers, like 3K, I mean, I don't know what that leaves you at quarterback. Probably not a super amount, but maybe you play Simpson and 1 cheap quarterback or something.
Yeah, I could definitely be down for that type of build there. I mean, it would be tough to get, but it's certainly possible.
When all those running backs get you like 40, though, you're not going to be worried about your correlation anymore.
100%. 100% there. All right, so you know what time it is now, though. It is time for our plays of the week. And Big T, I'm going to start with you because you already gave it out. But for those who
gave it out, baby, Singleton. And with Love being 9,800 and a great play, you got who else? Randall. You got Haynes is pretty expensive. A lot of these guys, and Katron Allen cheaper. Singleton 100% sneaks through the cracks. He might be like 3% owned. Absolutely, he's my favorite play of the week so far this year as far as ownership and stuff. I just think he checks all the boxes for me.
I love it. And you gave Bruce just enough time, to settle in with him. It was a great transition. And, I see Bruce nodding his head. Yeah, he's ready. He's on that Miley Cyrus stuff. He's nodding his head like, yeah. Bruce, who's the play of the week for you?
I'm going to go with Jeremy Bernard. I think he's going to have a little bit of ownership, maybe close to double digits, but won't be crazy. 6,900. So perfect price there. Perfect, nice price. I think he has a huge game here against Vandy.
Perfect. Jeremy Bernard is the play of the week there for Bruce as well on the Saturday main slate. You got Nicholas Singleton, you got Jeremy Bernard, and of course you got Brendan Sorsby to round out the trio there. Sorsby going to absolutely crush against Iowa State. He might be chalk, but it don't matter when he gets it done with a 40 piece, only at 6,800. Cheap enough to allow you to fit in those stud running backs as well. Whether it's another mid-tier quarterback or something like that. There's definitely that case that you probably don't have to spend up with quarterback at all. Sorsby is going to fit that bill. So again, Singleton, Bernard, and Sorsby are plays of the week for Bruce, for Big T, and I. We appreciate y'all for watching. Hope one of y'all takes it down. Have a good one, and bye-bye.